Hello, America. It's time to check the nonsense at the door, clear the cobwebs between your ears, and have a rational-ish conversation. This is the lost art of common sense. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is the lost art of common sense, brought to you by our merch shop. Buy our shit.
Buy our shit.
In this week's episode, we're talking about guns because we love guns.
Heck yeah, guns.
And just, it's an interesting topic, but I've been wanting to talk about it for a while just because you're always hearing about guns and how some people love them and some people hate them and how they're horrible.
Is this our first episode of actually guns and not the 2A?
Yes.
Oh.
Surprisingly enough.
Yeah, that is surprising.
So we'll kick it off like with any responsible gun episode with the 4 rules of gun safety. Kevin, do you know?
I think so.
You should. I told them to you earlier today. But let's see if you remember.
I knew them anyways. Don't ever point a gun at a person unless you mean to shoot them.
Don't point your gun at anything that you're not willing to destroy.
Yes. Don't have your finger on the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Don't. Always check if it's your gun's unloaded. Just
treat every firearm like it's loaded.
Yeah. Just always assume your gun's loaded. Unless you obviously, you're cleaning it and you've checked it multiple times, and watch out what's ever behind whatever you're shooting.
Correct.
Like know what's behind it. Know what's behind the object.
Know what's behind your target. It's like, I set up my range in the backyard in the middle of a metropolitan area. I could have sworn I thought the paper target was going to stop it. So we'll just jump into it. What was your first experience with guns?
My whole family's hunters. Shoot. Obviously, the BB gun was probably my very first, shooting birds out in trees. Then I think, going duck hunting, deer hunting. Probably, I think my first time was when I was 10, going duck hunting, maybe earlier. But I had to have my hunter safety before I could go do any of that. So it was whatever age that was. So maybe 10 or 12 that was my first time really handling a gun. And it was a Remington 870 12-gauge shotgun.
I'm not a...
What was your first experience with a gun?
Like, I know that... I've never really been a hunter. I think I attempted to go hunting with you a couple times, and I'm just not made for hunting. I got super bored, and we just started shooting stumps.
Yeah.
We didn't come out here for nothing.
Yeah, but you're going to shoot the gun, might as well,
But I don't know. I guess my first experience with a gun is when my dad, he had like that. Have you ever seen the movie Cuffs?
Yep.
So those 2 Berettas he had?
Yep.
My dad has one like that, and he pulled the mag and ejected the round and let me look at it. That was my first experience, like holding a gun. Shooting it, I think the first time I ever shot a gun, I think it was a 12-gauge, and I was pretty young. And it
was it when you shot it with me?
It was either you or our buddy Rod.
Yeah, I could see that at Rod's house.
I'm not saying that we had anything to do with the barn at their parents' property eventually collapsing, but I know there may have been a few rounds that went into that abandoned barn. I don't know why it fell over.
I don't know who would have loosened the structure like that,
But yeah,
shooting it.
That was about it. Like I always liked guns. Like, I go shooting every now and again, but I don't think I really got into guns until like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think once I could afford getting guns, it changed a lot. I mean,
I
was always
the scary thing about guns is, like once you start liking them, it's a very expensive habit.
Yeah,
hobby.
Yeah,
could be an addiction. I don't know. Could be a habit.
Mine's more of a hobby because you obviously have a lot more than.
I don't have any. I have one gun.
Well,
I borrowed
you have
any firearm you may or may not see during this episode from me. I borrowed from a friend for this episode. I only own one pistol.
Well, I got one pistol, one shotgun.
Yeah. So you're a major collector.
Am I? So, and my shotgun was actually, I inherited it when my dad passed. So that's how I got mine.
So was that your first gun you ever owned?
Uh, no. I used to have another shotgun, another 12 gauge 870 Remington. I won it at a like
Ducks
a
Unlimited.
Ducks Unlimited thing, or I think it was actually Pheasants
When did you
Forever.
get rid of
Maybe
that? I think I remember seeing that gun.
I didn't really get rid of it. Corey just, my brother, he just has it. It's in his gun safe. I think I've held it twice.
I'm keeping it safe for you.
So he's like, "Oh, you just want to throw that at my house?" I'm like, "Sure." Never seen it again.
It's like, hey, I can keep it at my house now. No, it's better over here. I'm assuming if you want a Ducks Unlimited, it's a pretty decent 12 gauge.
It is. It's a standard 870. It's a camo. It's Remington's a good good shotgun, good 12 gauge.
Yeah.
Pump action, so.
My first gun, which is the only gun I own, is the Raven P25. Pretty
Nice.
sweet. Got 5 in the mag, one in the chamber, and these you used to be able to buy these in gas stations back when they first came out.
Yeah.
And it's a 25 ACP, which pisses me off because before Gander Mountain down here went out of business, they had a whole rack of 25 ACP, and it was the only thing during one of the big ammo grabs that there was no buy limit on. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of these. These will be around forever. And I only bought 2 boxes. Now you can't find it anywhere, and it's like 60 cents a round.
Jesus.
For a not very effective round. Incidentally, though, this gun, not this exact gun, but this model, shows up on Discovery ID a lot.
I'm sure it does. See,
it's like, the
mine.
showcasing found was a 25 ACP.
Oh, it was a Springfield XDM.
XDM. Is that full size?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not compact. I like a full size better. A compact just feels weird.
So that's the first one you bought?
That's the first handgun I bought, yeah.
Well, that's why I don't like guns like this, because...
Yeah. It feels weird.
Well, and it's, a 25 ACPs, but this one you're not going to feel, other than the shells eject directly out of the top. So if you're in indoor range, they bounce off the roof of the lane, and then it goes down the back of your hoodie. So you're,
yeah. I don't know if anybody can see my dad's shotgun.
Yeah, I didn't buy this one. This was gifted to me. Yeah. Like, you're going out into the world.
This was gifted to me as well.
So was that technically your first
not
one?
Gifted. I guess inherited. What's that?
Was that your first one then?
No.
Or was the Ducks Unlimited your actual first?
My Ducks Unlimited is my actual owned one. And I think I inherited that when my dad passed, I think it was 3 or 4 years later.
Yeah, I remember. So incidentally, because we've been friends for so long, you actually taught me my first bit of gun safety.
Yeah, I bet I did, because didn't you point a gun at me?
I didn't point it at you. I think I flagged you.
Yeah.
I wasn't pointing
no,
it
you
at
were
you.
Well, I think you swung it towards me.
Yeah, I was looking at it, and I didn't realize where the barrel was pointed.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, it's not loaded. What the fuck? And you're like, you should treat everything like it's loaded. I'm like, hey, look at you being responsible. I didn't know you had
Well,
that
no
in
one
you.
wants to get shot. It's a pretty simple rule. If somebody doesn't deserve to be shot, then don't point a gun at them.
I'll tell you one thing, and I know when you're in a gun store, not that I go to them very often, but it's kind of like, I took a buddy's AR in there to a gun shop to get appraised once, and just doing him a favor. And the dude looking at it obviously was unloaded, just flagging the shit out of everybody behind the counter. I guess when you're in a gun store, but it's weird though, because if you go into a gun store like, hey, let me look at that, and it's busy, it's really hard not to flag people, and it is very rude to point a gun at. I don't care if it's got the yellow tab in it. I do not like pointing firearms.
No one wants anything like a gun pointed at them.
Yeah, it's just rude.
As safe as it could be, unless it's completely taken apart and all you got is a fucking,
I guess if you had the cable, I mean,
If you
at
didn't have
SHOT
the
Show, they
barrel
were
on it,
showing
that's
off
fine.
thermals, and
Yeah.
there was no barrel in it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess that's good, but it's still in the handguard. So if you're standing 20 feet away from him, you're like, why is that asshole pointing that AR-15 at me?
Right.
So, but yeah, that was my first. I mean, this didn't get me into it, but I will never get rid of this gun just because it's not worth shit. It was what
Yeah.
I think the brand new, which really you think about it.
Kind of a sentimental gun.
Yeah, I mean, it works. It fires. I mean,
Yeah.
but these were $60, and you could buy them at gas stations in the '60s. This is the original Saturday night special. Yeah. But I don't know. I guess $60 back in the '60s though. It's not. I don't know. I guess
It's probably
that'd be
like $200 now.
So like High Point, it's the 1960s version of the High Point, except for it's all metal.
Yep.
Do not, if you own a Raven P25, do not dry fire it. There's a good chance that the firing pin is going to come right down the end of the barrel.
Not supposed to dry fire those, huh?
Yes. We've said many times that
How easy? Hold on though. How easy is that to take apart?
Well, yeah, you just stick a pencil in the back and it.
I
really? Watch YouTube. There's YouTube videos and everything. Like, how do you break down your Raven?
I was wondering, like, a lot of times, you set the lock, you hit the hammer, then pull the barrel off.
Yeah, this one's got that little thing in the back.
Oh.
So it has to do with like pushing that in and then pulling it out, and it's a very simple mechanism, and it seems very chintzy. I'm actually surprised that it fires. We've said many times that being Americans, we should be able to legally own any gun made. What would you buy and or own, or would you buy and or own a full auto?
It depends.
I'm not talking about like if you had to choose. Like, let's say this isn't like I'm rich, I can buy whatever the hell I want. Let's say you saved up money and you can either choose. It's going to have to be a pre-19. Okay, never mind. You would have to be rich because if you buy unless you get an FFL.
Yeah.
The only gun you can buy is pre-1984, 86. And those go for like $30,000, and they're not that good of guns.
Yep.
You can just legally own them. But would you buy one? If you had to choose from that and other guns.
Yeah, I probably no. Probably, if I'd buy it if I had the extra money to buy one just to have. And if I had money for a shit ton of ammo. So I'm not just going to buy it to own it. I want to shoot the shit out of it and shoot a bunch of stuff. That'd be, it'd be recreational. I mean, I don't see a reason to have it like for home defense. I think it'd be a horrible home defense gun.
I don't even think the military, as far as like infantry, uses full auto all that much. They might use like the 3-round burst.
3-round burst, I think they do. Or, like a...
I mean, if they're having to lay down like heavy suppression fire or something, I could see them using full auto, but it is not practical. And unless you have like the right kind of compensator or brake or something, they're very hard to control.
But would it be super awesome to shoot one? Fuck yeah, it would.
Well, yeah, it was super fun to shoot my buddy's binary trigger that he had at one time.
Yeah, I bet.
But then it's like, hey, there went $15 in ammo in like 3 seconds.
Yeah. See, that's the problem is I don't have the money to keep buying ammo.
Yeah. Do you think everyone should own at least or shoot a gun?
I think everyone should at least shoot a gun or know about guns. And, I'm not saying they need to be taught like as a requisite for like elementary school or anything, but I think everyone should learn about guns. I mean, they're prevalent in the U.S. To be biased against guns is weird. One, a gun doesn't have a political leaning or animosity towards anyone. It's the people that use them that do. And should everyone own one? Yes. I'm going to go with yes. I think everyone should own a gun. I think so. I think everyone should own a gun. I know that's going to be controversial. I mean, I think if everyone... See, I don't know. It's hard because people do have mental problems.
Well, yeah, okay.
So somehow you got to root that out.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, I don't know if you ever heard of Donut Operator, but he shares a lot of police shootings. That's all his channel is. Like it's body cam footage of police shootings. But a lot of the people in those shootings are people that should be in asylums.
Yeah.
They should not be out in, like, one dude was like acting like a ninja and had a knife, walked up on a traffic stop, had nothing to do with it, just started talking shit to the cop, and then pulled out a knife, jumped in the back of the truck of the guy who the cop pulled over, who that guy had locked himself in the truck because who the hell's this crazy asshole?
Yeah. Well, yeah. No shit.
Well, then the dude ended up jumping out of the truck and going. The cop just happened to have a female ride along during all this.
Yeah.
And he got out, threatened her, started walking toward that side of the squad car, and the cop was like, okay, that's enough time. Time to take a dirt nap. But, yeah, I could see if you were showing signs of actually having, like, some type of mental break or something like that. But those people shouldn't be out and about like they are now.
No, there should
Really?
be asylums. There's not.
There's not. There should be, but...
When did we close those down, by the way?
I think it was around the Reagan era.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a big push for the mentally insane have rights too, or something like that. That and insane asylums are treating the patients like guinea pigs.
Well,
and
yeah.
treating them like
Yeah.
shit.
I mean, they were assholes to them.
So, do we need them? Yes. Do they have to be heavily monitored? Yes.
Yeah. I think, old folks retirement homes aren't great either.
Yeah.
I
I saw Happy Gilmore. Nice. Those guys can be dicks.
Yeah.
Running sweatshops.
Reminds me of what was it? Happy Gilmore.
I literally just said that.
Yeah. I wasn't paying attention.
Exact
I was
words
trying to
that came
think
out
of it
my
when
mouth.
you said it. I think once you said it, I was like, yeah, that's the movie. It was
Horrible
Happy
co-host.
Gilmore.
Horrible co-host. Yeah, I think everybody should at least be able to, as long as you're mentally competent enough, and that should be a hard bar to get to. But if everybody has a gun, everyone's gonna be a hell of a lot more polite to each other.
Yeah, there
sure.
would be a lot less violence, I think.
And that's why I'm totally fine with ex-felons getting their Second Amendment rights back, because if you served your
Technically,
due
yes.
to society and you're off paper and you pass parole, then yeah, you should get all your rights back. If for some reason someone's like, oh, but he was in jail for blah, blah. Well, if it was so bad that he can't be trusted or she can't be trusted with a firearm, then maybe they should still be in jail.
Yeah. Do you agree on like an age limit for buying a gun? Obviously, a 5-year-old shouldn't go to the store and buy one. But
well, no.
Do you think you can? What age do you think a person should legally be able to own a gun? I guess usually be under parent supervision anyways, because like hunting or whatever, adult supervision. But
to own a gun or buy a gun? Well,
to have a gun. To be able
I don't know.
to use
I
a
was
gun.
fine with the, because what was it up there? Was it 18 for a long gun, 21 for a handgun? Now everything's 21 or something.
I think everything's 21. I think somebody wanted to move it back down to 18 because if you can serve in the military, you should be able to own a gun.
Well, see, and here's the thing, though. I would say the people that serve the military probably show more ability or trustworthiness to own a firearm, because nowadays people act so freaking stupid that it's kind of hard to be like, you're 18 now, you're a man, son. But I like playing with Legos.
Right.
So, I don't know. And like they've proven that you get and plus I'm older than all these ages, so I don't give a shit.
I don't either, but I still think that people, I think, obviously I think any child should be able to use a gun unless it's under adult supervision.
I think everybody should be trained. We live in a, people can like it or not, we live in a gun society.
We do.
It's the Second Amendment in our Constitution, and guns are everywhere. So I think everybody should. I think it should be something that they even teach in school. They used to.
Yeah.
They used to have shooting teams.
Yeah. I think some schools still do.
I think one of the reasons they might not, though, because the more educated you are about guns, gun safety, how they work, it takes a lot of the fear away.
Yes.
So, which I think is a good thing. But if you're anti-gun,
I don't think they have shooting teams anymore.
Huh?
They have fishing teams. They don't have shooting teams anymore.
I know. It's a good sport. Like shooting long range is hard.
Yeah.
And there's math and geometry or I think trigonometry gets into like, what is it, over 1,000 yards or something?
Then you got to do winds. Yeah, because you got to be able to, and you got to do it on the fly.
Yeah.
Because you got to be able to adjust for it, for wind, sometimes curvature of the earth.
According to Mark Wahlberg.
That's actually true.
At that range, you got to calculate the curvature of the Earth.
I think it's actually true.
No, it is true. I mean, it's a true statement. It's just, you know.
It's just,
I know
well,
we
still,
already
unless you're a
covered.
flat earther.
Well, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but then velocity of the bullet, how it's going to lose, velocity over, distance, stuff like that.
Well, and yeah, in terminal ballistics and stuff, that stuff's kind of interesting. I watched a thing earlier about like what's the best weight for a 5.56 or 2.23, and like the differences between the two, and why, like, if you're going for accuracy, you go with a heavier bullet that's not going to have the same terminal velocity as like a 5.55 grain,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. What guns do you think everyone should own?
Well, I think
Like, if you're into
handgun.
guns, you can buy guns, you can own guns. Like, what kind of guns do you think people should own?
I think in a handgun, it's pretty simple. They're easy to clean. They're easy to take apart. They're super easy to handle. They're for the most part pretty accurate, depending on what kind of handgun you get. Obviously, like your gun might not be as accurate as some, but
Well, the Raven is probably accurate up to about, I don't know, 10 feet.
but I think just for home defense, you should have a gun.
I mean, you got to think. Okay. I don't think I can lock the slide back on this, but this has got a 2-inch barrel, because that's where it's not even that long.
Yeah.
It's got about a 1-inch barrel.
Yeah, I think everyone should own a gun, and I think I think a handgun. Whatever caliber you want, I would say 9 or maybe, I'd say at 9mm. They're usually pretty accurate. If you're going to need it for home defense, and you don't have a distance where it's not going to be accurate unless you own a mansion.
Well,
Then you probably have security anyway, so who cares?
I mean, someday, if we can get if everyone likes, subscribes, comments, and shares our podcast,
that's right.
we might own a mansion with like Kid Rock with a shooting range in the basement of the White House.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I would love that.
But yeah, I think, well, mine's more like, I guess, a question of like, if you're going to get into guns and you wanted to buy more than one, like, because there are some guys that own like, and I have no problem, you want to own 500, they'll own like 6 or 7 ARs.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is my Monday AR. It only works on Monday.
Well, different brands and stuff, but like we were talking about earlier, you can always like just build your own AR, start cheap, then you can build it into a badass AR.
Yeah.
So I think your buddy,
Well, yeah, like, and you're still on your audio wise, but like, the one cool thing about an AR is you can buy a $600 AR, and the cool thing about AR-15s, they're reliable, they're accurate. You can buy one for like $500-600, and then if that's all you can afford or whatever, over time you can save up money and upgrade it. I mean, I think I originally started out with an AR pistol, and there's nothing left of that. But slowly, my buddy has upgraded everything on this.
what kind of sight is on that?
It's a primary arms 3 times magnified optic. It's like a poor man's ACOG.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is actually really nice, except for close quarters, and you get a little blurry. You just
Well, if it's that close, I think you can almost, fire it from the hip.
But what I like about these is like these are fun to build. I've built a couple ARs for people, and they're fun to put together. They're not that complicated. And you can put together a really nice, like I said, you can start out with like a Palmetto. You can get a Palmetto AR for $600.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, all right, so what do I want to do with this? Because lowers, I mean, the lower on that one is a Aero Precision Pro, so it's fully ambi on both sides. But other than that, a lower receiver is a lower receiver, which is really, if you're building one, is other than the build kit, is probably the least expensive thing that's going to go on the gun.
Yeah.
But they're all like, even the expensive ones, if you get into billet and stuff like that, it's like you're just paying for the machine time to have something fancier. You can get a fancier billet lower.
Yep. Agreed.
But they have, well, since I got on me, I might as well go through some other ones. But you have an AR-15. Well, we'll go into the home defense stuff. But what I like about it is they're just fun to mess with.
They are.
I mean, I was like, oh, I want to put a new grip on. I want to put a different trigger on. I mean, hell, I just sent you a trigger because my buddy found one else that he wanted. So I sent you a trigger for your buddy's AR.
No, I do have an AR.
But no, they're fun to build. They're fun to work with. I mean, I guess it's gunsmithing technically. You know, I mean, I didn't go to SDI, who is not a sponsor of this podcast. Not that we would say, no, you probably don't know what I'm talking about because you don't watch a whole lot of gun tubers, but that's like the number one sponsor of every gun tuber. Sonora Desert Institute.
Well, I think I don't watch them because I'm jealous.
But no, I mean they're fun to put together, and I like them. But I would think like, well, we'll get into that with home defense thing. What do you think is the best carry gun for self defense? Like, what would you, like if you could
carry
concealed carry? I think open carry is stupid if you want to do it.
Probably a compact handgun, obviously a 9mm, maybe like a Hellcat or something.
Yeah, I think I think the smallest caliber you'd ever want to go to would be a 30 or 380.
Yeah.
But I would think if you get a 9mm, the problem with carry guns, you're kind of carrying most like micro nines. Like this would be considered a micro nine. It's a SIG 365X.
Yep.
Which incidentally, this gun is pretty cool because it's super narrow.
That is super
Comes
narrow.
with an optic cut, so get a little hollow cell on there. And you can get mag gut springs for these. So this gun holds 15 rounds, which is a lot. The problem with these little guns, though, they're very snappy and hard to control. So it's like, yeah, I think especially if you're carrying a micro 9, I think you're carrying those more for I mean, worst case scenario, shit hits the fan. You have a tool on you to do something, but I mean, they're hard to be accurate with. They're hard to control. The reason why I went with that is because I shot a Walther once.
Yeah.
And that gun was stupid snap, like just it was hard to control. This one had the least amount of snap out of all the videos I watched.
Really?
So that's specifically now the PC the SIG P365 itself, it's kind of like that Raven where your pinky, you can get a mag extender, but they feel wonky. This is a full grip, so you can actually.
Yeah, see,
if you have little hands like me.
Yeah, I like a full grip.
So that's why the X, that's what it gives you. Then the 365 XL or something like that. It's got a longer barrel on it. But SIG makes some pretty good handguns other than that one that fails drop tests all the time. But the 365 line's cool, and they got ones with compensator, stuff like that. I would say if you can get away with it, if you're husky, it's a little harder. If you can get away with it, I would go with something more like a Glock 19.
Yes.
I would try to go with something more like that, just so it's the bigger the gun, the heavier it is, the easier it is to control, the easier it is to be accurate, get back on target. So you're not going to be able to, I don't know, some people might be able to conceal carry a full size if you're like super skinny and carry abdominal. But when you're husky and you got a belly,
yeah,
that doesn't work so good. What's the best home defense firearm?
A cannon.
A cannon.
I'm going to go with cannon.
Well, technically,
ain't no one surviving a cannon.
Including your walls.
Nope, but it'd be cool to fire.
Hold on.
Hold on.
I need to light my wick.
It's going to take about 10 seconds for it
to... It's coming. You just stand right there, you son of a bitch. It's too heavy to move.
Home defense. I don't know, man. I mean, there's so many... Again, a handgun would be the most optimal because I think it's the most accurate and least amount to destroy your shit as, you know, you're protecting your home. I mean, you can go with an AR. I think an AR, maybe. You don't want to do like I mean, shit, any gun's good for home defense. I mean, what's the best? I don't know. Like a shotgun would be good, but you're going to fuck it. It depends what kind of ammo you get. If you get a slug, or if you get like bird shot, you know,
Well,
you're not looking to kill but wound.
just looking to
Probably
piss
bird
off.
shot. Yeah.
Have fun getting that out of your ass.
Yeah, 30 fucking pellets in you. You're not going to try to steal anything else. But it's probably not going to kill you. So if you're not looking to kill, you know, maybe a shotgun with birdshot.
Well,
If you're looking to kill, cannon.
you see, there's a. I used to keep. I used to have this Beretta CX4. Actually, to tell you the truth, that was the first gun I ever bought, and I don't have it anymore because it was stupid. And it was a 45 ACP. But I used to load that up with. The first couple rounds were snake shot, and a guy at the range is like, "I wouldn't leave that in there. If they live, they can sue you."
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess you make a point.
I mean, if somebody's breaking your home and you fear for your life or your family's life, you're not just going to shoot once and hope you hit them. You're going to unload, center mass, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not unload, but at least, you know, until they're down on the ground or running away. I mean, you're not just going to shoot and be like, "Did I get you? No? Okay. Don't move."
Don't you move.
I mean, it's like all those people are like, "Why don't people just shoot them in the leg?" Like, because it's a high stress situation, you're just going to go for the fucking middle because it's the easiest to hit.
Yeah. I mean, there's a multitude of. I mean, yeah.
You ain't messing with birdshot.
I feel like if you own an AR-15, you're owning it, unless you're hunting with it. Like some people, you know, it is.
I could hunt a deer with
rifle.
fucking AR-15.
They actually consider a AR-15 a battle rifle, not an assault rifle. AR does not stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armalite.
Talk about stuff because I gotta use the restroom.
But most AR-15s too, modern
This is
AR-15s.
where a third person's always nice.
Yeah, AR-15s are. They're not even Armalite anymore. It's a different type of design. But I mean, yeah, you could use an AR-15. You can use a PCC pistol caliber carbine, where they have like the AR platforms. Those are generally only good for shooting ball ammo, and they're more for fun for plinking. They also have AK versions, the AKVs, and this is basically a knockoff of a Russian gun. But those are all good for home defense. I would not use an AR-15 for home defense, just because I'm not going to fire off a 5.56 or a 2.23 round inside my house. Not even just for over penetration. Unless you give it up, have the time to put some type of hearing protection in, there's a good chance you're going to blow your eardrums out firing an AR-15 off in your house. 12 gauge, I mean, yeah, you can use a 12 gauge. I mean, it's going to stop the threat. Could do over penetration, could make a mess. The pistol caliber carbines I was showing, they're accurate. You can put, like, this gun is a Brigade Arms AR-9 or BR-9 or whatever. Watched a shit ton of videos on that, and I'm like, oh, that's a good gun. Yeah, it's not. Out of the box, I mean, I don't know. If you fire nothing but Glock magazines out of it, like, MN2s will not run in that for shit. But because the buffer, it has a bolt slap. You know what that is?
No.
Where when you're closing the bolt, you can actually hear and kind of feel it bounce.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Off the barrel. Well, that's how you can get out of battery detonations.
Oh.
So if you put a different buffer in it that has the weights in it.
Yeah.
I don't know why that stops it from happening, but that gun got a different barrel on it with more of a. They use the Colt style barrels in most of these AR-9s you buy, and that's why you can only fire ball ammo. There's no way in hell you could cycle hollow point through it. But with an enhanced barrel, it has more of a milled out cone, so you can actually cycle hollow point. So you could use like an AR-9. I don't know about an AKV. I've never tried to run hollow point through it. I do know that the AR-9 with the new barrel will, from Ballistic Advantage, I think, that will cycle hollow point. So that could make a good home defense weapon. If you're I personally think that this type of firearm, if I can
I'm
pull
thinking
it up
like
here.
I'm going back to shotgun, but put some dragon fire in there.
There you go. That way you can burn your house down and cover up any evidence of wrongdoing you might do.
Right?
Because it is crazy in any like self-defense scenario. Like if you have to use your
You're
concealed
always
carry,
going to jail.
because the prosecutors will find a way to try to say it's on you. I personally think, and if I could ever have the money, I would get this specific gun. Maybe not the color, but I think a 300 blackout.
Oh yeah, those things are awesome.
300 blackout, subsonic. The reason why I like this gun, it's 6.5-inch barrel. 300 blackout do perform well out of shorter barrels. And if you go with 220 grain or higher subsonic rounds, put a can on it, they're about movie quiet. So you could, I think it has good stopping power. It has good velocity, even out of a short barrel. I think a 300 blackout with a can, which should not be in the NFA list, would be your you can carry up to, you can get 30 round mags for it. They're going to be a little bit longer than AR mags, but because I'm pretty sure you can't fit 300 blackout mags in a standard Magpul or PMag. But you can carry 30 rounds in them. You can't get 300 round, 300 blackout magazines. So that to me is the perfect home defense gun. Now, if you can only own one gun for whatever reason, I would go with a full size handgun. Full size, either 9mm or even possibly, if you're going to use it for home defense, a 45 ACP, like a 1911 or something.
Yeah, that'd be.
I'll go with a double stack style 1911, but
something fall.
if it did, I don't know what it is.
I'm sure your buddy's happy his guns is falling over.
Maybe. I don't know what that was.
Ah, well.
They're all still here. But yeah, I would go with a full-size handgun. I think that's your best bet. If you can only own one gun for whatever reason, whether it be economic reasons or...
It'd be like a 1911.
But, I mean, that's going to be a very flat-shooting gun. It's going to be a very controllable gun, and you're going to be able to get plenty of stopping power.
Yep.
Now, if you could pick 3 of any firearm, and each came with 1,000 rounds, what would they be? And if it's an FAIM, the tax stamps paid, whatever.
Like, what would I want to shoot?
Yeah. Or own, but whatever.
I mean, if it's only going 1,000 rounds, I can't afford the ammo after that.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying you have to shoot all the ammo. I'm just saying you can pick 3 guns, and those guns come with 1,000 rounds. What would they be?
Probably, an AR-15. I just like shooting them. They're a lot of fun. Probably a sniper rifle. Like a long range rifle, good scope. And I always wanted a revolver.
Yeah.
Any kind of revolver. I think revolvers are awesome.
Ever since I sold Doc Holliday
Hell
with that
yeah.
shot glass.
Well, okay, corral this bitch.
Yeah, I think I would own a Barrett 50 cal.
Yeah.
Or something like that, a 50 caliber, just to see if what you can hit at 3,000 yards.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was price is no option, maybe a Daniel Defense style AR-15, something like that, like some just Gucci as fuck build.
Yeah. Gold plated.
And then I think it would go with the new 8.5 blackout from Honey Badger.
Yeah.
I heard recently that they're the ones who came up with 300 blackout.
Really?
Yeah. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's true. But they just came out with the 8.5 blackout, and it's like just a fat round.
That's awesome.
So I'd probably do that. I'd probably get one of those, maybe even their bolt action, and go from there. Kevin, why don't you talk about the last part, because I'm going to dip out here for a second, and then I'll be right back.
Basically, the question is Great Britain proving the point that if government took all the guns, not only would you not completely stop gun violence, but violence as well, and would cause them to move to the next weapon of choice to ban in the name of public safety? Obviously, this is true. Look at what's going on in Europe. Period. They're losing their rights. I mean, they don't have freedom of speech, anyways. But I bet they would if they had gun rights. People are finding other ways to kill people. People suck. People are going to find ways to kill people. Uh, they're going to find knives, or I guess as Great Britain did, they found out that people are using swords, so they banned ninja swords. Like, I don't even know exactly what kind of ninja sword. Can you own a samurai sword then, or maybe like a long any kind like a broadsword? Is that okay? I mean, what exactly is a ninja sword that Great Britain is? Then I think it was Idris Elba in his documentary said that there should be like people don't need knives, like sharp knives or like pointed knives, and if they do, they should be on a registry. So I mean, but it wouldn't matter because look at Germany. They just had somebody run through an audit, like a bunch of people with a car. People are going to find a way to kill people no matter what you ban. People always find a way. There's plenty of household products people can make a bomb with. I mean, just because you ban something doesn't mean it's good. I mean, usually people who buy guns legally, for the most part, I would say 98% of people who buy guns legally are responsible adults and not using them to kill other people. They're using them to protect their family or themselves. So banning something does not make it, does not make any country safer. Um, and like I was saying, like Great Britain is banning ninja swords, Josh. Ninja swords. I mean, can you own a broadsword? Can you own a
Yeah, is it
samurai
sword
sword?
specific?
He said ninja, like the president said, we're banning ninja swords, or prime minister.
Prime Minister.
Yeah, ninja swords. Like I don't know what a ninja sword is. Like is that a specialized type of sword, or
I tell you one thing though, they say in close quarter.
is Excalibur now allowed to be wielded in
Well,
Britain?
I'm pretty sure Excalibur's like a lightsaber, so that would be outlawed anyway because it's awesome. Here's the thing though: when you ban firearms, like they did in Great Britain and in all these major cities where criminals have,
I
shit
think
tons of
most
guns.
of Europe is anti-gun, aren't they?
Yes.
But I mean, Germany just had somebody run people over. Like a guy killed a bunch of people by running through a crowd with a car.
Yeah. Well, we were having a. There was a. I mean, what was it? It was a while ago. I think it was even pre 2020. But there was a shit going on here where people were doing that.
Oh, a katana. That's a ninja sword. But I mean, is it just a katana that's banned?
Pretty soon they're going to start doing what they're going to do is it's going to start out with blade length because in close quarters, a knife can be deadlier than a gun.
Well, like
You're not going to run out of ammo with a knife. And they're very hard to defend against. All that crap you see in the movies, where they're like, oh, dodge it. I'm like, no, if a guy's got a knife and he wants to hurt you, you just run. Unless you have a firearm already drawn.
Yeah, like the Indiana Jones skit.
Yeah.
Thing.
Well, they say, there's a lot of gun tubers from Iowa. Pewview, he lives in Iowa. There's this thing where they say that you can't get within, I don't know what the guy does. He does something professional with firearms, but I think it's 20 feet. If somebody has a knife and they're within 20 feet of you, you cannot draw and put them down before they get to you and start stabbing you.
Yeah.
And they tested it, and he got him one time. One time he was able to draw fast enough, and this guy draws fast.
Was it so like he had a paintball or
it was like a
vest or something, like a laser?
Yeah, it was one of those training guns. Like it was a gun, but it was I think it was a CO2 style gun, so it acts just like a normal firearm. Because there's CO2 packs you can get for almost like even like your Glock or even like your Springfield stuff, where it's like a CO2 pack and it makes the gun dry fire, but it has recoil.
Well, even the U.S., I think after what is it 6-inch blade that it's
there's places where I work you can't have a blade longer than 2.5 inches unless it's for work.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to say what I did, but I had something in my truck that should have been in there.
Well, I remember one time somebody had a sword.
What?
Yeah. Look, anything when you're going, if you're getting a security briefing before you go in anywhere, anything on that list is there for a reason.
Well, I'm just saying, like, who's going to go onto a government facility and be like, they're probably never going to find this giant sword in my back seat.
It's like, what? It's for work. Have you seen the pipes we're insulating? They're huge.
Listen, man, we're going to have some watermelons and stuff for lunch. So somebody's got to cut it.
I'm just saying, we're going to try to cut 6 at one time.
So.
But no, I mean, I don't know. It's just, but that the reason why I wanted to put that in there is because that is proof that they don't stop at guns.
Well, here's
and
the
criminals
thing,
don't give a shit about any of that.
I think Idris Elba, he had a documentary and he was talking about, putting a registry on people who have like pointed knives. Instead of rounded like steak knives, if they're pointed, then you should put it on a registry because there's no reason to have it.
So if you have a set of steak knives, you'd be on the registry?
Unless they're rounded at the top,
You could open a new store just called Butters.
Right? Or
Welcome to Butters, where everything's rounded.
Just smoothie, man. Everything meat smoothie. That way you don't need to cut your meat, you just drink it.
That's right.
It gets ridiculous. You're not going to stop people from killing. I'm sorry. You can ban whatever. Like you said, criminals don't give a shit. If they're willing to kill somebody, I'm guessing they're willing to break the gun law or the knife law or the ninja sword law.
Well, and I'm sure
or they'll
that
find
it's
another way.
It's diluted by the numbers, but concealed carry permit holders have a lower percentage of breaking the law than police officers.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, like, if I'm carrying a firearm, I'm not going to instigate a situation. I will avoid a situation because there's a whole gambit of crap that comes with carrying a firearm, responsibility, stuff like that. But like, I will avoid it because I don't want to draw my weapon and fire it at somebody.
No.
That's there in case it's a life or death situation and it has to be used. So
Once
like,
in a while,
that's why
stop
a lot
at
of
bar
people
too. And I don't like conceal and carry because sometimes I want to stop at a bar and it's not most places. I mean, you can't drink and have a firearm.
You can't take a firearm into a place that sells 51. It gets 51% of its revenue from alcohol.
Yep.
So technically, you can. I don't know if it's you can't drink at all or you can't be drunk. But yeah, if I'm going to be drinking,
I think it's 0.08, just like driving.
Yeah, if I'm going to be drinking, I'm not going to.
No, carry.
I'm not going to be taking my firearm anywhere.
Do you have Netflix?
Yes.
You should watch the show. I think it's brand new on there. It's I Survived a Crime. It's real life video of people like, surviving crimes. And sometimes, there's this one where this kid was trying to break into this house and the dad just like shot him 3 times. He's like, dude, you got to leave. I got a gun. Dude, stop. I'm going to fire. And he shot 3 times, hit him 3 times, and I think the kid died.
Well, that happens. There was a video I watched
he was
where,
breaking in the door to get in.
There was these 2 kids that were robbing a convenience store. They jumped the counter at robbing the guy at gunpoint. And this dude comes in. I couldn't tell if it was a cop. It kind of looked like it was. Dude pulls his firearm, shoots the one person, and then reaches over and shoots the other guy. And he's like, dude, they're fake. He's like, yeah, yeah, mine's not. Up the RA.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. You might need some explanation.
I was like raw, like the sun god.
Possibly. But no, and then the guy's like, call 911, and he's like, I'm bleeding, I'm shot. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I mean, it was funny, but like, I don't know. People have been getting pretty brazen about that shit. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that kind of wraps up the gun stuff. Anything you...
Nope, guns are cool. Everyone should learn about guns. Everyone should at least try to shoot a gun once in their life if you have access or go to a gun range. I think do gun ranges let you like shoot a gun even though you don't own one?
Yes, you can actually go to gun ranges and rent guns. That's actually not a bad way of doing it. Oh, IRA.
Wow.
But that like if you're looking at a gun, because that Walther, I never would have purchased that if I would have shot it first.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know you could rent like a gun at a gun range.
Yeah, if you just want to go shooting, a lot of gun ranges have guns that you can rent, and then you just buy ammo for it. You go back. That's when I found out that even though it never took off, and it's very expensive and can be hard to find, the 10 millimeter. If you want to blind the shit out of somebody who broke into your house, fire one of those off. The muzzle blast is ridiculous. Trump's the goat. We'll be getting to that. Kinda.
Yep. So yeah, I would say everybody should at least shoot a gun.
Guns are awesome. They're fun.
Guns are awesome.
It's a fun hobby. Just because people are into guns doesn't mean they're crazy.
No,
It's like
it's a
anything
hobby.
else.
I mean,
I don't even really like shooting my guns that often because I don't like wasting ammo.
You're cheap.
Yes, I'm very cheap.
Yeah. So I also don't like shooting for that same reason.
I mean, it's good to train, especially if you carry a firearm, you should shoot that. I would say at least once a month.
Yeah, I would practice. Actually, drawing. Drawing your gun.
I mean, I was at the range zeroing some optics, and I'm like, well, I brought a mag of ball ammo for the Glock. I'm going to shoot that, and I hadn't shot it in a while, and I did not have the right. When you're gripping, you kind of go around, you really squeeze the shit out of your grip with your left hand. I was not doing that, and it's his birthday tomorrow.
Tomorrow, so he didn't want to be on the show today.
Apparently, I thought he was going to be schlockered. So happy birthday, Matt.
I hope he is schlockered. I hope he's drunk as shit right now.
Yeah,
happy birthday, Matt.
Embarrassing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the Vector. 416 carbine. I'm not 100% sure that. Like the only, if I'm gonna get pistol carbine, I'm probably gonna say it's a 9mm. I am a huge fan. I was watching a video where somebody was talking about the AKV, and he had a list of like all these PCCs. Like he had a ton of them. It was like number 6, and he said his biggest gripe was that it had a lot of recoil. And I remember when I went and shot it,
yeah,
I thought, man, this thing is smooth.
Really?
But this thing comes with a ginormous brake on it, so that might be why.
Yeah, that could be it.
But I thought it was super smooth because I was like, oh, man, this thing kicks like a horse. But no, my goal is to get the CMMG Descent 300 Blackout 6.5-inch barrel with either a Honey Badger, what is it, Trash Panda or Thunder Chicken can for it.
Those are awesome.
Just because if you fire them with 200, they're, super quiet. So that would be my preferred. Those make really good truck guns too, because you can collapse them down. And why should you have a truck gun? I don't know, 2020?
Yeah.
It's like, we're starting to get farther enough away from that stuff. We're like, oh, that sounds crazy. I'm like, no, it's not crazy. But the Vectors, they seem like cool guns. They shoot really fast, but there's some unneeded mechanics that go along with that. So,
I'm in Iowa. Josh,
Texas. But
Texas.
It's I don't know. They seem like fun guns, but I can see them having and I've heard they have a lot of mechanical problems. So, but we got some. Great Britain just announced that they're going to ban all ninja swords. Yep, as if the knife still / retarded. This is from 2020 American. On Rumble, because for some reason Rumble does not attach to a thing.
I don't understand why we can't see the Rumble comments.
Yeah, I don't know. If they pass a law against a 2.5-inch blade or longer, I think they should name it Kevin's Law. I agree. And not because of anything other than inappropriate reasons. I mean, the shape of the Vector is kind of cool, and it is very compact. It's just it's got extra mechanics to it that lend itself to issues, mechanical failure.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it's a cool futuristic looking gun, and it shoots. The full autos that you can't own, those are super fast. All right, well, let's run into our winners and losers of the week, Kevin.
In my book, you're a winner, too.
I think you're a loser.
You're a loser.
I am. Oh, my loser. Who is my oh, yeah. The person who went after the TP USA charter member in, I think it was Austin.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, Austin, Texas. Liam Tam McGuin. I don't know. Basically, it's a trans dude who did not like, Republicans or, conservatives. So she tried to bash them over the head with a metal bike lock. It was caught on camera. Everybody filmed it as she was riding his bike away. There's people are, and Democrats don't, they condone this type of behavior. They condone the Tesla. What Democrat has says you shouldn't torch Teslas? They condone violence, mostly peaceful protests. These are the things, and that just pissed me off, because if one Republican does anything, January 6th, anybody, or some grandma walked into the Capitol building and got 2.5 years of prison time.
Well, hell, that one dude who wasn't even in the Capitol, who was being charged as being a ringleader, who spent 2 years in the hole.
This is the shit. This is why we have guns.
Well, I mean, technically, I was going to say earlier, too, the AR-15, if you're not a hunter, the biggest, other than just having fun, they are fun guns to shoot. They're very low recoil. I mean, you can set up an AR-15 where theoretically could buck quite a bit. But you could say by owning one, you're kind of fulfilling your civic duty under the Second Amendment.
I don't know. I mean, AR-15 is still not shit to what the military uses.
Well, it's the same thing as the only difference between that and what the military uses. Well, no, they actually switched, and I think they're working themselves away from the 5.56. But
yeah,
I forgot what the new round is, but it's just an M4, same thing, except for theirs is full auto.
Yeah, full auto, 3-round burst, stuff like that. Which
Hell, you can get an FRT.
There's ways to make an AR-15 pretty much a full auto. So,
well, that's a beautiful thing about American innovation. When someone invents the
technicalities
FRT,
allow it to be a full auto without it technically.
It's not full auto because your finger's moving.
Yes. So, American ingenuity, buddy. Don't tell me what I can and can't do.
Well, and if you go back through what are they called? The Freedom Papers. All the papers from the original founding fathers, like what I made that Grok skit about, link in the description below if you want to know what Grok said the founding fathers would think about modern day gun laws. The Second Amendment was purely to have a standing army against any army of civilians, whether it be our government or other invading governments. That was the whole point of the Second Amendment.
Yep.
And every single
your
person
government gets tyrannical, that you could, uprise against your government.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was for. People don't like to say that. They're like, oh, it's not for self-defense or in hunting. It's like, you don't need this for hunting. I'm like, that's not what the Second Amendment's for. You might want to go reread some stuff.
Yeah, the Second Amendment didn't say you can own guns to hunt.
And it's not even to go to war against your government. It's like a check. It's like, do we really want to push the people this far because they all have guns?
It's a check for the government is basically what it is.
So, I mean, I don't know. That's what I think. But my loser is Jasmine Crockett, mostly for the obvious, but this isn't the only reason. But we'll play the clip and then we'll talk about it.
And because we in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey, y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey. So yes.
Kevin, When you hear anyone refer to someone as Hot Wheels, what's the first thing that pops into your head?
Wheelchair.
Oh, it's not that they send people to other places of the country and planes,
No,
trains, and automobiles.
that would be out of. I bet you if 100 reasons, somebody's like, if I called someone Hot Wheels, what would they be? Not like number 100 be like, I don't know, maybe they send people by planes, trains, and automobiles somewhere. like 99 would be like, I don't know, maybe he's just like a avid like collector of Hot Wheels and he's weird. I don't know.
It was actually kind of funny. I saw a clip on Jesse Waters talking about it, and he did not know that trains had wheels.
What?
Neither did his guest. They're like, trains don't have wheels. Yeah.
What do you think? What do they go on the rails with?
I don't know.
I want to know what they thought trains did. Like, what do?
I mean, maglev trains don't have wheels.
Yeah, but it's not like trains have only like I don't understand what.
It's like, have you never seen a train go by you?
What do they think? They're just like metal on like the straight metal and like there's a cable pulling them or something. I don't know. It's weird.
I was sitting there watching, like, what? Okay, and then you could tell somebody came over their headset. They're like, "Oh, I was just told trains have wheels." It's like, gee, thanks for admonishing yourself and letting us know that trains have wheels.
I didn't know planes had wheels. They're in the air.
They don't have wheels. Look at it. Point out the wheel. So, yeah. But, like,
I just
she's
think
a loser
it's funny
for that, but also because I'm just like, it's not just because of what she said. She never apologized for it. She came out with some bullshit excuse like by saying, oh, it's because he's sending all his people to cities with black mayors. Had to point that out. But it's the fact that then now they're doing the same thing where they're like, oh, it's First Amendment, blah, blah, blah. First Amendment, like, because they used to go like, went back when cancel culture was huge. Everyone had to watch what they said because they were going to come after you. It had nothing to do with First Amendment. First Amendment does not protect you from backlash on the internet or saving your job. Like, you can lose your job for shit that you say.
Absolutely.
There is
it's just saying the government can't arrest you or
prosecute
punish
you for things you say.
That's it. The government. That's it.
So,
but you'd still lose your job in the government for saying shit. I mean, I'm sorry, but they can't arrest you for it.
It's just annoying because there's no like
repercussions.
Well, and it's not even just that. She has gotten a lot of backlash. I'm just tired of like come up with an argument. Like, we haven't had a real argument politically. It's always been us, them, hating Trump just because he's Trump.
I don't know though. I mean, I can't get. It's kind of hypocritical for us. I mean, Trump does come up with fucking names for everybody.
No, I'm not, and I'm not a diehard. Everything
I'm just saying you can't be.
I don't agree with everything Trump says, but what I'm saying is, yeah, but this is coming from the party that's all about
inclusivity,
unity, and inclusivity, and anti-bullying and stuff like that. But it's like even when the left was in power, though, we were always fighting policy.
My biggest thing about her, like people like in the Texas State House, are like she's never spoken like that till she got to Washington.
No, it's an act.
Her mannerisms and her. Like, I came from the streets kind of speak. Like, she didn't. She's highly private. She went to private schools and, like, some, I don't know what college she went to, but, I mean, it was a good college.
It was a good college. She's well-educated and well-versed. I mean, it's an act.
When you see, like, her before, I mean, she spoke eloquently, I guess.
It's part of that whole, all Democrats are doing it. Like,
well, they're trying to, it's weird.
We're cool because we cuss.
Yeah.
I use the naughty words.
Because I'm cool.
I cuss because I have a potty mouth and I'm not
I cuss because I can't help it and it just slips out.
People say cussing is a crutch. I agree.
There's some
My
words
vernacular
that
sucks.
I want to say a lot, but I don't because we are on air.
Sometimes I try to think of a word and I can't, so I use a curse word.
Yeah.
Like the F word. It's a good filler.
Yeah, it is. Ooh, I poured that.
I had like, okay, now I'll get to that, the Tesla update. Who's your winner?
Mine's Iowa basketball because
I'm assuming they did good March Madness.
No, they're out. But they did hire a new coach, and I do like him a lot. He's from Iowa. He knew a lot about the past of Iowa basketball teams, and I think he's going to be really good for the team. I I think Iowa basketball will be on the rise, and I think I will like them. So, and I'm just happy about it. That's why he's my winner, because it's for selfish reasons. Yeah, I'm just happy about Iowa basketball actually maybe wanting to watch it again.
Well, I'm happy for you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
I don't watch any basketball.
I know.
It's a very wimpy sport.
Oh, by the way, so I'm in a contest on DraftKings.
No.
And out of 10,000 people, I'm 108th on my bracket.
You're going to lose.
I will lose, and it'll be like the last game. It'll be
We all have our roles in life, Kevin.
and mine is constant loser.
Yours is being a loser.
Dude, I have played this part my whole life, so it's not going to be a disappointment. It's always been like, I always feel like I'm going to win or do something good's going to happen. That is right when life is like, to the nuts.
It's like, well,
Right
it's time to
to
shit
the
on
nuts.
Kevin again.
I'm going to drop you on your knees.
No, yeah. Well, my winner, I have no idea who this person's name is, but and it's not really for what's going on or what happened at the end, but whoever this dude is my winner.
That's why he won. People like you. That's why he won. That is why he won, because of people like you who need to stop and let him live.
Bro, just like, bro, chill, bro.
You're okay with that? He's a racist.
I'm so bro, how can I be
He's a
racist, bro?
racist.
Okay with it?
If you
I'm
fucking
so
voted
okay
for Trump, you're a racist.
He's so wrong.
He's a racist.
How can I be racist?
No, he's not. Leave him alone.
Doesn't watch the news.
You realize
He wants to be
Democrats
highly educated.
Oh, are you? Then why are you wearing that hat?
everything's going up. I
He's
don't know
having a
how
bad hair
long
day.
the Democrats have been running New York since.
I'm educated. Then why are you wearing that hat? Only uneducated people wear it.
Well, this is my stuff. I hope you enjoy the hat.
Oh, she took a tax.
Ready for it? To the face!
To the face. Yeah, that's why he's my winner. Because he got.
You could have gone either way with that, because she could have been your loser.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Oh, she lost. And then she got up and was still running after him.
so weird. Like, why do you pay?
I don't get why people get that upset over that shit.
No, if somebody was like wearing a Biden Harris hat or something, I would be like, dude, that's weird.
See, to
You know,
me, that's
I wouldn't
not.
get angry about it.
That's not like if someone's wearing a Biden hat, I'll be like, oh, that person's an idiot. But you know what really annoys me that came out of the whole left 2020 Biden stuff?
What's that?
If I see people wearing masks.
Oh, I know.
I don't say anything to anybody because I don't care. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. You do you. But just know I'm judging you.
I did see somebody had I went to the rest stop on the way home. Like, I think it was yesterday. I was in a tunnel or whatever a couple days ago. I went to the rest stop. Had to use the little boys' room, but then I got out. I was like, the person right next to me had a bumper sticker that said, "I love abortions." Like, I heart abortions. Like, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand, like, I support abortions. You know, even that would be like, but
I don't
you
think I
love
would
them?
say I support abortions. I think I would say I support choice.
Women's rights or women's health care or whatever they call it these days. But to just put "I heart abortions," I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, it's like that. You ever see that protesters in New York all the time? It says, I love abortions. I've had like 14 of them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, you're a lady.
Well, you're a whore.
So what you're saying is that guy's going to say hello.
Dude, you're probably number 14 came out with a fucking dead dick.
Gross.
Well, you're just, letting whoever, just do their business.
I don't understand the blind, like, here's another thing that the kid said that I don't agree with, because he's like, how can I be racist? I think he was saying that because I think he was Mexican, or he had more melanin than some.
Oh, yeah, no, he was like...
Just
Hispanic or
because
something.
you're Mexican or you have melanin in your skin does not mean you can't be a racist.
Yeah. Duh.
Just ask the Christians being murdered in South Africa.
Right?
So that pretty much wraps up winners and losers. So I guess that means it's time for Trump Truth.
Trump Truth!
What I say is what I say.
Trump Truth of the Week is, whatever happened to the $8 million given by our government to the radical left Politico magazine, or whatever you would call it, owned by wealthy guys. This money should be taken back by Doge ASAP. Also, as Stacey Abrams is going to give back the $2 billion they funded into her environmental fund just prior to my assuming office? She went from $100 in donation to $2 billion in just one day. Not bad. Get money back. And that was the Trump truth of the week.
What I say is what I say.
And since Kevin's not back yet, we'll run into the Doge Weekly Update.
Of course there's some wasteful spending, but you don't use a meat axe and cut everything.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of Doge, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of Doge, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money. Are we going to get a lot of complaints along the way? Absolutely. You know, one of the things I learned at PayPal was you know who complains the loudest and with the most amount of fake righteous indignation? The fraudsters. It's going to affect people very positively. So the changes that we're doing here will ensure the solvency of the American government, of the United States of America. This is what we're trying to do, is ensure that people do receive their benefits in the future. And you can only receive your benefits if the country is operating in a healthy and competent way.
Yeah.
I think it's true that the only people that are going to complain are usually the people that are screwing the system.
A lot of times, I think a lot of people that are more afraid of losing their benefits. They're not really like.
Well, they're not really. They just read the news articles that come up on their Facebook pages or whatever, KW or whatever, whatever their TV6 or NBC affiliate is. I mean, that's how most people get their news anymore. Especially if you're older and you are receiving Social Security. And that's why they're so afraid, like the older folks.
That's why they need to stop this fear mongering and tactics. Because I know somebody whose mom was like legitimately afraid that she was going to lose her Social Security benefits. It's like, no, you're not.
If
you're 150 years old and receiving Social Security, yeah, you're probably going to stop getting it.
My local news station, I follow them on, Facebook and stuff. But I mean, it's nothing but Trump and Doge, and I mean, it's very rarely because they're connected to a larger whatever conglomerate. But I mean, it's hardly ever like local news. It's always like Trump did this, Doge is doing this. It's never in the positive light. It's always the fear mongering type of articles.
Well, and I forgot who brought it up. It was on, I don't know if it was on talk radio or I'll jump back and forth between Patriot and Fox News, which means I'm being lied to all day. And It's exhausting. It might have been Judge Janine, but someone said that basically Elon and the people from Doge need to come out at least every 2 weeks and do a press conference.
I think so too.
And I agree with that. I think they do need to do that.
I think they should show also, like, hey, this is what we cut.
Not just on X, what we're sitting in front of a camera.
This is what we're suggesting to cut, and just have a graphic showing all the ways spending from these government bureaucracies, even Social Security, which I still think should go independent
We're not going to get Social Security.
No. Social Security is pretty much gone anyway.
I would be totally fine if they said you're not getting Social Security after, fix it, find an age cut, because I personally do not believe there's any way in hell that Social Security is still going to be around by the time we get to the retirement age. So cut me a check for all Social Security I paid in.
No, that's why you should have this.
Somebody was talking about
even
that.
If your company doesn't have a 401k, put money into a 401k yourself. Yeah.
Spend it all on SHIB. Oh, wait, that's the one that tanked.
Not SHIB. I don't know. Put it on Bitcoin or something.
Well,
Might
for
be
long
worth-
term, but I just don't
might
think
be $1
that
million
someone
by the
brought
time.
up the idea that of basically people that there's no way in hell you're going to get Social Security. You get a certain buyout for the money you put in. Because that's another thing, too. Like, you put a decent amount into Social Security every paycheck, but they pay out Social Security for so many things, and you get it for so long that you don't put in near as much as people get out.
Well, here's the thing: is people also steal Social Security numbers. This is why they're finding 120-year-olds, 140-year-olds, 160-year-olds, 200-year-olds. Is people are stealing Social Security numbers from from the dead, and usually it's illegal immigrants, and they're getting these benefits sent to them because no one checks. And the people who are saying like I just saw this argument today. Everybody's like, why does Elon Musk need to go in there and audit the government? These places audit, get audited every year. Yeah, but the government is auditing themselves.
That's what I like about
fire
Doge, because
themselves.
it's a government agency, but
It's
Elon
independent
doesn't have any
people.
skin in the game. He doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't get paid by the government to do this.
He's not getting paid anything.
Yeah, he's just doing this. I'm sure the people he works with probably get some kind of salary, but I mean, whatever. I don't know if that's out of him or whatever, or is it federal? I don't know.
But I would call it probably one of the probably the most independent audit we've ever had of the government.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they've done them before. The difference between this audit and the audits before, they've done them before, but they just gave them a report. It's like, yep, there's a bunch of waste and fraud. Here's what you should do. They don't do it. And like,
Well,
Elon's
then
going in.
they'll list all the things, and no one reads these fucking audits anyways.
Oh, that looks bad. I don't want to read that.
Every so often, like years ago, like over the last 5 years, you once in a while hear like a Republican say, like, we shouldn't be spending money on gay monkeys in Taiwan. And you're just like, yeah, we shouldn't be spending money on gay monkeys in Taiwan.
I can get behind that.
But, I mean, but they don't do anything about it.
Have you, what the hell was I going to say? Totally forgot. You shut my brain off with your stupid
gay
comment.
monkeys from Taiwan.
Gay monkeys from Taiwan. Yeah, totally lost.
That was,
no. So do you find it funny, or not funny, actually?
I always find it funny.
Upsetting that there's been multiple news stories. So this is a real thing. It's there. It's happening. That Congress has a slush fund for paying off sexual harassment suits.
Yeah, that's fucking gross.
The fact that we have that, people know we have it, that's obviously funded by taxpayer money, and nobody seems to give a shit.
It's weird because why are taxpayers have a slush fund? Why are we paying for them to sexually harass? I don't care if it is a fake fucking, sexual harassment suit.
By having a fund to pay people off, though, you're just inviting yourself
Yes.
for more. So, I don't know.
It's disgusting. The government is corrupt. I mean, there's a lot of corruption in the government. Not saying everybody in the government's corrupt, but there's a lot of corruption in the government, and it's just a bloated fucking mess. What's funny is I think last October or maybe September, the government added, I think we had our biggest civilian job loss, whatever, private sector job loss, like in years, like decades almost. But the government covered it up by adding, the largest governmental, hiring practice in ever, hiring employees.
Well, yeah, they were padding the numbers, but I think somebody mentioned it, how it's like.
It should have been like 20% unemployment, but it was like under 6.
The unemployment number is actually huge. Huge. We just don't count people that don't look for work, which is dumb. So, yeah, it would be cool if they did at least a week. It would be cool if they did a weekly, so I'd have something for the Doge Weekly Update. But
that would be cool. I think they should anyways. They should have a press conference every week.
I think it would be harder to make people think.
Or what their plans are. Hey, we're in this, because sometimes I see they're in the, this is what we found out of this department.
It'd make it easier to combat the people talking shit.
Yeah, because you just get these kind of like updates every so often. You don't know what department they're in or.
And he's got a pretty good reach on X, but he's not reaching the people he needs to reach.
No, I think
X.
there's only like 46 million people on X.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not reaching 330 million Americans or 180 adults, million adults.
Yeah, so not everybody's watching Fox News, but I really think that if
and NBC, CBS, ABC, they're all saying like he's trying to steal your money. So that's, that's
yeah, but the ratings are so low that I think people would forget that they're even a thing if they weren't brought up on networks that people did watch.
Yeah.
That's how I know about it, because other networks talk about them.
Yeah.
It's like, just stop talking about it. If they ever pass, like RFK was talking about banning drug commercials.
And they should be.
Yeah.
Us and New Zealand are the only two countries in the world that allow pharmaceutical companies to play ads on their TV.
Well, and if they ever ban that, those places are fucked.
Yeah.
So I hope they do it.
I
Let's
do
roll
too.
into happenings of the week, Kevin.
Happenings of the week.
What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening? What is happening?
I'm not going to lie. He looks kind of like a doofus, all kitted up like that. I think it's his face.
Like a chipmunk. It's all bloated in the cheeks.
You got a lot of cheek there, buddy. It's kind of cool, like, we go from word salad to...
Yeah.
Well, he used to be a Marine, so it's not like it's a big surprise. Apparently fired off a howitzer while he was out there, too.
That's awesome. I would love to fire off a howitzer.
Oh, I think this is him firing it off now. Those used to be manufactured in Rock Island, Illinois.
Yeah, that's why we used to be on the nuclear.
Now, Kevin, you were number one. Rock Island Arsenal was the number one target for a nuclear strike, and it's still in the top 10 list.
Yeah.
And then I moved from there, and I'm pretty sure I'm still living in a nuclear
top
strike
10.
area.
I guarantee you're a top 10.
You just I live out, I remember growing up. I live in the Midwest. I don't got to worry about this. And you find out you're in the number one spot, not Washington. No, middle of the Midwest.
Yeah.
But apparently the Rock Island Arsenal is like the number one. Everything goes through the arsenal.
Yeah. There's everything, all gun acquisitions, all that shit, manufacturing shit. I mean, that all goes through the arsenal.
School base.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Getting out there, meeting the boys, not being a condescending. I don't know. Was Biden and Harris condescending toward the military, or did they just make it weak?
They just made it weak by saying that you could be a boy that wants to be a girl and
we'll pay for
also in the army.
In the army.
I just find it funny that recruiting numbers are way up.
Instantly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So, this isn't really the story. I think this is a huge overreaction.
Obviously, it's a overreaction. They're saying it's...
Have you seen this?
The signal leak?
No, I want to play this clip for you.
Okay.
Because this is a reaction to the signal leak.
Without objection, the gentlewoman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, today I rise in disbelief at the troubling stories in the Atlantic magazine of classified attack plans carelessly leaked by the U.S. Department of Defense in reckless and dangerous fashion. Congress must conduct full, independent, public, and private congressional hearings. The highest national security and intelligence leaders of our nation put American service members' lives at high risk. All responsible must be held fully accountable, including through removal or resignation from their positions. And these include Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, CIA Director Radcliffe, Director of National Intelligence Gabbard, Secretary of State Rubio, National Security Advisor Waltz, Chief of Staff Wiles, and Vice President Vance were among those involved in the plans Hegseth shared against DOD policy on a Signal group chat on unsecured non-government devices vulnerable to espionage. Hegseth failed to notice the group chat. It included a news editor and reporter with no security clearance. Only Lady Luck graced our nation, as their haphazard approach to war didn't result in the death of American service members who could have ended up at the bottom of the Red Sea or over foreign soil. Their reckless leak risked American lives
Who's
and
Hootie?
our
Was
as
security.
reckless
As our
as
Marine
having
Corps
a
uncle would say, shape up.
A server
Thank you, Mr.
in your
Speaker. I yield back.
bathroom with
For what purpose?
classified documents on it.
They said it's worse than the Afghanistan debacle.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it was
The
stupid.
gaslighting that goes on. I'm not saying Republicans don't do this, but literally everything, like Republicans do it, but not nearly to the extreme that Democrats
She
do.
literally called for the removal or resignation of like half of his cabinet plus the vice president.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
I don't say this word a lot, but she's fucking retarded.
Well,
I mean,
it's like, oh, here's what I don't understand though.
Stupid.
They're like, oh,
Jesus
we need to have a
Christ.
congressional investigation. Blah, blah. Okay. Here's what you need to do: find out who set up that call. Or I don't know how. I don't use Signal. I haven't used it.
I think the Atlantic put the whole text chain through everything, like everything that was there. The whole
Well, he was
thing.
listening to it for like 10 days.
Yeah,
So it wasn't one call.
No, and he never expressed, "Hey, I'm a
See,
journalist."
that's what I'm not sure about. So do you think he's liable
No,
for
I don't
not
think
saying
he's
anything?
liable, because I don't know. I don't. Freedom of press is pretty. That's a pretty.
But
hard
like, if
one
you
to
know
argue.
you're listening to, according to them, confidential, top secret information, and you don't say anything. I mean, I don't know. It's an honest question. I have no idea.
I don't know either, but I mean, I just saying that. I mean, I don't think they actually gave out any, because they said multiple times, "Hey, we'll go over the plans through." I can't remember what it's like, UpSat or something like that. It's this top secret, thing, whatever.
And they
Not
don't like
on
Pete
Signal.
Hegseth because he's a man.
Well,
He's a warfighter.
Well, I think they just don't like him because I don't think he's part of the industrial.
He's very patriotic.
Yes.
He's gonna follow Trump's plan.
Yeah.
And he's all about efficiency and wanting to make sure our military is as lethal as possible.
Yes.
So, and like the bullshit they used to, because he was like on camera drinking a glass of water, and some Democrat freaking Senate douche or congressman was like,
Do you think
was
he was
that
drinking?
alcohol? Was he
Yeah.
drinking? Did he smell like mouthwash, but not as minty?
You're like, I don't know. It was a text message.
Like, yeah, I couldn't smell him over the phone.
It's just the gaslighting that happens is just fucking stupid. And people getting upset about this, shut the fuck up. I mean, that's it. Like, nothing happened. It went well.
Yeah, I would find out who set up the call, because it was an aide. It wasn't
Tim
the national
Walz
security
I think
advisor.
It's Tim Walz's aide that.
Yeah, well,
accidentally
it
put
wasn't
him in.
Tim Walz. It was his aide.
But, I
who
mean-
set up the call, find out how it happened.
It was
That's
like
it.
another secretary has the same initials. I guess you can go either by initials or name on Signal, I guess. So I guess there's two people with the same initials like as their tag, and he just hit the wrong one. It
Yeah,
was a
it's
total
like-
accident. It wasn't like
I don't feel like we need to have a big congressional thing.
no, it was a fucking accident that happened. Was it unfortunate? No,
But
because
she's acting like the funny thing is, the way she was acting is like the guy from the
Somebody
Atlantic
died.
hacked the call. Though
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, this is a breach of security." I'm like,
well, she's like unsecured, and technically, Signal's supposed to be the most encrypted fucking chat that there is. Period.
yeah. So I don't know.
Like you can't break into it. Like every government uses Signal because it's so encrypted you can't be hacked.
Yeah. So yeah, I just think it's a total overreaction.
It was just
and-
a fucking dumb fucking mistake that happened, and people are fucking freaking out. It's because they can't get anything else on Trump right now or the cabinet because everything is 80-20 issues. I mean, everything. People like everything they're doing. The Doge, the deportations, all that shit's not hitting as hard as they hoped it would. And they can't even go after like women's health rights because technically, if people are smart, they know what states' rights are. So they really, I mean, they always try, but so they have to do something because there hasn't been a major snafu. This is the biggest snafu the Trump administration has made, and it wasn't even that big of a deal.
Yeah, I don't think it was that big of a deal. So a little Tesla update. I don't have a lot of videos. I really wish I would have got the one of that huge fat guy on the homemade, I don't know what the hell that was, crashing into the side of one, or the other huge fat ass.
What was that? I really wish you had that video because I'm trying to figure out. I watched it. I'm like, what kind? That's not a scooter. Like,
No,
it's like
it
a
looked
small
homemade as fuck.
four-wheeler
It looked
type
like
of
the
thing.
gas tank was a milk jug sitting in the front.
Yeah, I'm like, did he home make this? I mean, that dude was pretty fat to where I was like, dude, if you can build stuff like that, why are you so
He
fat?
probably, I mean, unless it was a Cybertruck, he probably dented the shit out of the car because that's a lot of mass coming to a stop. But you see the other one where that guy was running his fingers up his ass crack and then wiping it on the car?
Yeah.
And at what point are these morons going to realize that the cars are recording them?
Like, it's everywhere on the internet. Everyone that happens, people are getting busted for this.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they need to be. And if they get linked in as like a domestic terrorist
What was like a
action-
millionaire's wife?
What?
A millionaire's wife, like, keyed a fucking Tesla, like a Cybertruck.
These
she
people
got,
are stupid.
She got fucking charged with, destroying private property and shit like that. So,
Well, and speaking of, this kind of goes into what we were talking about with guns and stuff like that. This is the one clip I do have. It's like 2 minutes long, so I might not play the whole thing. But this guy stopped a person to lecture them on owning a Tesla, and I guarantee you the only reason they did is because it was a woman. But I'll play this. And
Angry because she was driving a Tesla.
I was thankfully by myself.
Lee was on the way to a doctor's appointment in Linwood Wednesday morning when she says all of a sudden a driver behind her just laid on the horn as they came up to a red light. Things spiraled out of control when a white SUV followed her and cut her off, stopping in the middle of the road.
Gets out and walks straight up to my window. So I crack my window and I said, what is the problem? He goes, you need to sell your car. This is a Nazi car. You're driving it. You need to sell your car.
Lee says she's been driving a Tesla for the last 2 years. She says the man wearing a camouflage jacket and a ski mask attacked her for it.
It's really sad, that this is what's happening to people who honestly, it doesn't affect how I believe or what I believe. Just the car I drive. Being in Seattle, it was climate's important, our footprint's important. This seemed like the right move for our very busy family.
This, however, isn't the first incident or act of vandalism reported.
But that was okay. So
I love
here's
these
where the gun thing comes in.
environmentalists who are switching out their Teslas for gas-powered vehicles.
Yeah,
because they're for the environment.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, it's and it's like the only car like actually made in America. But here's the gun angle. Okay, with that guy, I'm assuming he did it because he's like, oh, it's a girl driving Tesla. Maybe not. It might have been gender blind. If somebody cut me off
Probably a dude
to where
pretending to
I
be a
couldn't
girl wearing
escape
camo.
and stopped in front of me and got out of the car and looked like that.
Oh, I'd have my gun.
I'm not saying I'd shoot them, but I'm
No,
definitely
I'd
going to
fucking
draw on
point
them.
it at him.
Yeah, I'm going to draw on them. You do not. I don't care how mad you are.
I'd be like, walk back to your car there, camo.
Yeah. It's like,
Where'd
oh,
you go?
want to talk to me about my batteries? That's how people get shot. There are plenty of videos, especially through road rage, where somebody gets pissed off, gets out of their car. They have a gun. So sometimes when people carry guns, it makes it feel like they're invincible. I've saw a video of a guy walking up to a guy at an intersection, stopped in front of him, blocked him in, got out of his car, had his gun out, walked up to the window, and got shot by the guy in the other car.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just asking to get shot. You pin someone down and then get out of the car and start walking, especially looking like that guy.
Oh, yeah. I'd absolutely have a gun drawn.
You could easily roll down your window and just open fire, and I guarantee you would get out.
I don't know.
You
She
could get
said
off
she
with
was in
self-defense.
Seattle, so I doubt it.
I don't know. But the car's recording it, so, I mean, they stopped you. They got out. They were walking toward you. But, I don't know. I'm pretty sure in Texas, you're going to walk. You might have to go to trial, but chances are you're going to get off.
Hold on before you move on. Thoughts on the structure supposedly under the pyramids. There's like 3D imaging of, basically it's what we talked about the other day, or like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 shows ago, I guess, that it was a power plant.
Look, here's what I'm going to say about it. All power plants have basements.
Yeah.
I've been in a lot of power plants. Nuclear, coal, they all have basements.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, there's like structures, like cylinders, like 6 cylinders, is what they're thinking, and there's like 3 of them or 4 or a bunch of them underneath the pyramids. Like,
See, the fact
they're
that
in,
that's
like,
even down there,
groups
how
of
the hell are you
6.
going to build that?
I don't know, man.
I
no
would
one
think
even
digging
knows what
that
they're made out
down,
of.
and I don't know what it's made of, but digging that down as far as it looks like they go, and then moving the stuff down into a hole would be harder than building up.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm not a structural engineer, and I hate math
It's a lot
with
of
letters
sand.
in it,
It's a
so
lot
I'm
of
not
sand to move. I
sure.
don't know how. Is it really sandy there? I'm assuming it is.
It's the desert.
Is it really though?
That's
Isn't it
where
right next
sand's
to
manufactured, and then it's shipped to the beaches.
Isn't it right next to like the Cairo River?
The Great
Is it
Pyramids are surrounded by sand and dirt.
I don't know, man.
It used to be a tropical paradise.
See, maybe it's a paradise then.
And then climate change.
There used to be mammoths when the pyramids were built.
Yes. I don't know.
I don't know why I brought that
I think
up.
it's
I'm just
interesting.
saying.
I'm interested to see what comes of it.
Yeah, I hope somebody actually like finds out what they are.
The thing that sucks though, and I don't know why, I think the Egyptian government's blocking people from doing any more.
That's probably where they're getting their power from.
Well, no, they're very strict on what you can and can't do around those pyramids. It's kind of weird.
People used to like in the fucking 20s and late 1800s and shit. They pretty much plundered all the fucking treasure out of the fucking
Well,
pyramids.
shit, that's why the Great Pyramids look the way they do. They used to be covered in limestone, and it was all stolen.
Yeah.
They used to be white with gold
Yeah.
tips, but just the tip.
Just the tip.
So, yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. So if anything comes of that, we might have to make an episode about it. Have you seen this greatest hit list for education going around on
I have
Facebook?
not. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
I've seen it twice.
I haven't seen it.
See, 2 people I know share it. It's at least a foot, if not a foot and a half long thread of like, education's great. A Marina Hernandez.
Are you talking about
shared it.
Department of Education?
Yeah, they're making a case on why we need the Department of Education.
Why?
And how
I
great
don't
it is.
understand what they fucking could possibly. All right, go ahead. Just keep going.
Well, here's my thing. If someone shares something and I start reading it and then I scroll down, it looks like there's a bunch of words and I keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, I'm not
Maybe
going to
you're
read
the
it.
reason for the Department of Education.
But I got the gist of what they were doing. It's like
Yeah.
you can list all the shit you want. It's like someone saying, hey, check out my house. Man, I spent a shit ton of money on that house. And then the guy they're talking to is like, dude, your house is on fire. Yeah, but man, I spent a lot of money on that house. Ain't it sweet? Literally burning to the ground. Oh, so much money.
Yeah.
That's what
Well-
you're saying. Because you can literally, like, we have the the highest number of illiteracy and people that don't know basic math skills.
People are graduating not knowing how to read and write.
The fact that you're going to give someone a high school diploma that can't read is a joke.
Or the Department of Education is the ones that said you don't need to know cursive anymore.
Well, and
So
people were
can't sign
smarter
their
back in the
names anymore.
1800s with the education system we had back then. Because they
Yeah,
had to.
just
I
people
think.
couldn't. Not everybody could get an education back then. 'Cause
No,
they had
I'm
to-
just saying, like
them-
the educational standards were higher back then.
Them little 9-year-olds, they had to go do the mining work because you didn't have to make the mine so tall.
Well, that's great.
So you
But
just,
what I'm
you just
also
had to make
saying
them,
is,
you just had to make them do it because, whatever, you can have more kids.
but they were still smarter. I think technology is another thing that, because they had to do everything pen and paper, stuff like that. So people were just, it was harder. The standards were higher. And I don't know why. You think the standards would get higher as education make things easier. It's like, oh, this is easier now, so we got to raise the bar so we have smarter people. Nope. It's like, hey. And I remember I wasn't super good at spelling when I was in elementary school. My teacher was like, hey, it's cool, spell check. And that was before grammar check. So you can spell a word right and still look like an idiot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank
you,
the
Grammar
Department of
Check.
Education, all the major things like the student loans will go directly to the Treasury. The special needs stuff will go to, I can't remember what department it is. It's a different department. I think it might be HHS as well as the food. The food whatever for free school lunches for the people who can't afford it. That will also go to HHS. I mean, everything that's important. Basically, what they're just
stuff that
doing
matters
is
is
cutting
still gonna
out the
be there.
middleman for all the stuff and giving the states like that money to do.
I
what
think
they
there were
need to.
funding requirements too. Like you had to do certain things in order to get the funding that were kind of wonky, like DEI shit.
Yeah.
And that takes that out, which is probably why they're upset. So I don't know. And then the states, I mean, the funny thing is it puts it all on states. So if your state's failing, it's because
It's your fault.
And that I can see why. And then it's going to focus in on teachers, and there are great teachers out there, and there are real shitty teachers out there.
Yeah, like the one that said she was happy because she was a transgender teacher, that she got trans euphoria for her kids calling her ma'am instead of mister.
Yeah. Anybody like that should not be around children.
That's what I'm saying. If you're getting
Like,
euphoria from being around a bunch of kids,
you want to be trans, or you feel like you're trans, and that's why you should have been. Cool. Shouldn't be around children. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's just
somebody
my
made a
2
good
cents.
point. Like, you hear all these whatever, the drag queen story hour for kids or whatever.
Yeah.
Why aren't they doing drag queen story hour for adults, for like old folks in
They
retirement
do.
homes?
It's on MTV.
What?
Yeah, who's that real famous drag queen? Been around since the 80s.
I don't know.
Some black dude.
Okay.
Tell's his name.
But do they go to retirement homes and read?
No, they just put on a big drag show to see who could be the best drag queen.
Well, that's not
RuPaul.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
RuPaul's drag show.
Why
It's on
are
MTV.
they
I've never
focusing
seen it.
in? Why are they focusing in on children?
I don't know. It's weird.
It is weird.
They want to be liked.
By
And
kids?
I'm not going to lie. Kids probably see a drag queen and think they're looking at clowns.
Yeah.
You know why?
Because they have a bunch of makeup on?
They look like clowns.
Yeah, but clown, maybe that's why I'm scared of clowns.
Well, could be. It's just inappropriate. Let's talk about Snow White. This is dragging on, so let's talk about Snow White real quick.
I'm a narcissist.
I mean,
original cartoon came out in
I thought this was
1937,
kind of a funny
and very
montage of all the
evidently
stupid
so.
shit she said building up to the release.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part. That people will assume is a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie. Andrew Burnap, all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows?
wasn't
It's
even a
Hollywood,
prince in
baby.
I say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White
No one's
that is
streaming that
not going to
online.
be
Saved by the prince.
She's not going to be
I'm
saved by the
pretty
prince,
sure
and
that
she's
was
not
back
going to be
during when they were
dreaming
talking about
about
the
true
strike.
love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Please?
For which movie?
Look at all the people.
I like how there's no one in there.
Yeah.
You're in a theater by yourself.
Yeah,
Or your
this
friend.
might be hands down the worst movie release ever, as far as a hyped up movie goes.
I mean, it's looking like it. I mean,
Currently, last time I checked, it was at 1.6 stars on IMDb.
I think it had $300 million plus budget, and more like probably closer to $1 billion with all the advertising and shit,
And rewrites.
and rewrites and redos, and because they had to do CGI little people because they had normal sized people as the dwarves.
Yeah.
So I mean, it all.
Well,
had
then
to
I
be,
kind of found out that those people that they said were dwarfs were actually bandits in the woods.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So it was all fucking redone. So I mean, it's going to be a huge bomb.
I'm not gonna lie. I would have put it directly on Disney Plus.
And why would you? I mean, it was an iconic film. Like, I think everybody watched it. I mean,
You know the funny thing is, I saw a video today on Facebook, and I think I may have seen it once, but this guy like made the argument that Snow White actually didn't live. Because if you go back and watch it, at the end, the prince kisses her, but then he's leading her on a horse to a castle in the clouds.
Huh.
So they're making the argument that she actually died and the prince is the guardian angel that took her to heaven. And it kind of pans.
It does. Huh.
Well, you know, it's the Grimm's brothers story, so they're always a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and I hear if you don't make, they generally want to make their money back on opening weekend. So yeah, it's going to be a huge bomb. I didn't get any from the PBS lady. I got a little clip from PBS that we'll be closing the show out with, but here's a little back and forth with the NPR lady.
Generally agree or disagree with the following statement. The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles.
I would not say I agree with that, sir.
You're not. That's good to hear. It's interesting because a lot of your thinking, as expressed by your public statements, is deeply infused with economic and cultural Marxism. Do you believe that America is addicted to white supremacy?
Addicted to it.
I believe that I tweeted that, and as I've said earlier, I believe much of my thinking has evolved over the last half decade.
It has evolved. Why did you tweet that?
I don't recall the exact context, sir, so I wouldn't be able to say.
Okay. Do you believe that America believes in black plunder and
If she
white
still
democracy?
has a job, that
I don't.
Look, I was on my
believe that,
third
sir.
You
box of
tweeted that
wine
in
when I wrote
reference to
that.
a book you were reading at the time, apparently, The Case for Reparations.
I don't think I've ever read that book, sir.
I don't want to
tweeted
say
about
anything
it.
because
You said
but
you took a day off to
the
fully
PBS
read The
and
Case for
NPR CEOs
Reparations. You put that on Twitter
like
in
you're-
January of 2020.
like
I apologize, I don't recall that I did.
Okay.
I don't know what's better to
your
plead
tweet
the
there is
fifth
correct,
or
but I
say
don't
that
recall
you don't
that.
Okay.
remember
Do you believe
reading
that
something
white
that
people
you
and
they
literally
can't
are
plead the
feel
fifth.
superior
They're not
to
doing
other
a criminal
races?
action.
I do
It's
not.
like against
You don't.
criminal.
You
You're
tweeted
incriminating
something to that
yourself.
effect. You said, I grew up feeling superior. Ha,
you have
how
to
white
answer
of
it if
me.
it's an opinion.
Why did you tweet that?
I think I was probably reflecting on what it was to grow up in an environment where I had lots of advantages.
It sounds like you're saying that white people feel superior.
I don't believe that anybody feels that way, sir. I
guy
was
has
just
a
reflecting on
perfect
my own
voice for this.
experiences.
Do you think that white people should pay reparations?
I've never said that, sir.
Yes, you did. Said
Yes,
it in
you did.
January of 2020. You tweeted,
That
yes,
might
the
be my
North,
favorite
yes,
part.
all of us, yes, America, yes, our original collective sin and unpaid debt, yes, reparations, yes, on this day.
I don't believe that was a reference to fiscal reparations. sir.
Oh,
What kind of reparations was it a reference to?
I think it was just a reference to the idea that we all owe much to the people who came before us.
That's a bizarre way to frame what you tweeted. a few years ago, NPR educated America about, quote, the whole community of genderqueer dinosaur enthusiasts. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of tax
I'm sure
dollars?
it's a
I
thing.
was not at NPR at the time, sir.
That's not the question, though. Do you think that that's an appropriate use of our tax dollars?
I think our tax dollars that we use are to be able to provide a wide range of
So I'll take that as a yes. You do believe that that's appropriate. This is garbage. I'll spend all of my time doing everything I can to ensure you guys never get another dollar of taxpayer funding. This is complete garbage. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Garbage. You're
did
garbage.
you see that their editorial board is 87-0, 87 Democrats to 0 Republicans or 0 Independents.
It's like, well, yeah, but look where we are. There's none out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that they say that they don't get that much funding, but I'm pretty sure if they lose,
They
the
shouldn't
federal
get
funding, they'll
any.
be screwed.
It'd be like us being funded. Obviously, we're right leaning, but for the government to be able to fund us would be an outrage.
Kevin, we're America leaning. Okay, we're America leaning.
Which is right leaning right now. Not saying it'll always be that way, but at this point in time in America, it's right leaning to be proud of your country.
Well, that's true. Well, let's jump into this. Is just a random clip about them talking about what RFK wants to do with SNAP program, and it's
under
they're
Robert
talking like
Kennedy
it's a bad
Jr.'s
thing.
Make America Healthy Again plan. SNAP participants may soon be unable to buy things like
no.
candy and soda using food stamps.
We shouldn't be spending 10% of the SNAP program on sugar drinks.
Supporters say it's a step forward for families on SNAP to make healthier choices.
We see the food stamps program as not fulfilling its purpose of providing this more nutritious diet to enrollees.
Anti-hunger groups, on the other hand, say it's actually a step forward to eliminating SNAP altogether.
It is a ruse. Any sort of harm to SNAP
anything that
SNAP was still around
makes the
when you could
program
only
more
buy Whole
difficult or
Foods.
stigmatizes it, it's a cut because it's cutting off more people.
Lawmakers in at least 16 states are pushing the federal government to implement the ban, but enforcing it could be tricky. In Arizona, for example, a proposed ban would restrict things like granola bars and some cereals, but allow the purchase of potato chips. And in Kansas, that proposal would allow users to buy things like Twizzlers, but not healthy energy bars. Anti-hunger groups say instead of banning things like candy and soda, lawmakers should instead worry about the price and access of healthy foods.
If you really care about the nutrition piece of, making people healthy, can we talk about how they are not enough grocery stores within walking distance for individuals? Can we talk about the high price of vegetables, of eggs nowadays?
In addition to the ban, SNAP is facing what advocates call the largest budget cut in 30 years, as much as $230 billion over the next 9 years.
Needed to wait for the.
Are you going to get a fucking copyright infringement for this?
No, because we showed who did it.
Oh,
you might get it if we cut that out, which I normally do. I'm surprised it didn't, but
yeah, but it's a good idea. I mean, it's ridiculous that I'm paying for somebody so they can be fat and drink a bunch of soda.
I was a little blown away when I was at a gas station one time and I saw somebody buy a bunch of fountain drinks, chips, and candy with a Lone Star card, which is like Texas's food stamp card.
Yeah, it's crazy what people can buy with it. Everything but like cigarettes and booze. That's it.
Yes, I don't know. I think it's nuts. Let's.
But hold on though. So before we move off of that, I just want to real quick. I guess a bunch of right-leaning influencers on like X and like Instagram or whatever, they were all really against this. Then people like dug into it and they found out that like soda companies were paying them to rail against it. So people were just selling out their own beliefs. Because people were like, wait a minute, you were just bitching about this a few years ago, and now you're for it? Like, you're for them to buy soda and stuff?
People are saying that there's a lot of infighting or a lot of wonky shit going on with, like, right-leaning influencers and stuff.
That's because when you become an influencer, you give up your values for money.
Yeah. It's like, well, we'll pay you a bunch of money if you come on
We don't have a lot of people watching us, and so we're not getting paid to where everything I say, I mean it.
But if you like, share, subscribe, and comment below, they might.
Yeah, we could change that, and I can definitely be a corporate shill.
I'd be like that guy that I never worked out for. So Coke paid us X amount of dollars to say that this is bad.
That's exactly what I would do. I'd be like, yeah, so Pepsi told me to say this, so I'm going to say it. I don't believe it.
I'm not saying I agree, but they paid
I'm
me
going
to
say it. So
yeah,
just put your fingers in your ears for this next 5 seconds while I say this.
You just put a Chiron on the bottom. This is all bullshit.
Somebody paid me to say this. This is bullshit.
Yes.
Thanks
well,
for the check.
That's everything I have for Happens of the Week. So that leaves one thing, Kevin.
White Slur of the Week!
Oh.
What's a honky?
Brought to you by Tuckers. Ladies, are you tired of having to say eyes up here due to that unsightly dome-shaped bulge in your crotchal region? Then Tuckers is the feminine underwear for you. Their patented she-shaft shackle, conveniently located in the frontal gooch area, ensures a secure bulge-free fit. Made of 100% recycled garbage from the streets of San Francisco, not only will that pesky moose knuckle be comfortably transformed into a true Arabian camel toe, you'll also be overtaken by that self-gratifying feeling knowing that you're helping clean up one of America's not-so-pretty-anymore cities. Tuckers. Don't let that pesky penis ruin your girl's night out. That's Tuckers, the ultimate cucumber elastic restraint system. Use promo code Buffalo Bill for 10% off your first order. Oh, and the white slur of the week is rabbit. Like Caucasians, a reference to the peace sign of the 1960s being similar to rabbit ears, or could also reference white trash who have a lot of children. And that was the white slur of the
What's a honky?
I think it's the second one. I don't think it's the peace sign one.
Yeah, I was like, really? I don't think anybody's ever...
Oh, rabbit.
And it would be
throwing up
upside down
a peace sign.
ears?
So...
It's like, yeah, I think you're thinking about the letter Y.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
I don't either. It's been a good episode. I had fun.
I had fun.
like talking about guns. You might have to talk guns more often.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, I'm Josh.
And I'm Kevin.
And this was The Lost Star to Common Sense.
Common Sense!
Common Sense!
Keep that vinyl spinning.
And remember, don't be boring, be a pirate. And I'm going to leave you with a little snippet of what is actually played on PBS and got them in a little bit of trouble and is kind of fucked up. But we'll see you next week, everybody.
See you next week.
So, get your singing voices ready. And we're going to start with our hips. The hips on the drag queen go swish, swish, swish. Swish, swish, swish. The shoulders on the drag queen go shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. The mouth on the drag queen goes blah, blah, blah. All through the town.